Hi guys, today's video is going to be a little bit different from the usual videos that I make because today we're going to be talking about money and how to be a little bit richer with the money that you have, because there are always tips and tricks that can make that money go further. These tips will work whether you have a lot of money or very little money, because the principles are always the same no matter what. And the funny thing is that often the more you earn, the less money you have, because the more you earn, the more you spend, and you get stuck in this rat race that never ends. And it's really not about how much you earn, it's about what you do with that money. So let's get started. So many years ago, when I was still living in London, I read a book called The Richest Man in Babylon, which is a very classical book from many years ago, and it's a brilliant book about the secrets of being richer. And recently I read it again because I had forgotten about most of those rules and tips, and I absolutely loved it. And so I decided to share some of the tips from the book with you in this video today, because in my previous life in London, when I was really good with money, for a certain time I applied a lot of these rules and they worked so well for me. So I'm very excited to start applying them in my life again and to have a bit more abundance in my life. First tip is always put away 10% of your income as soon as you get it. So set up a direct payment or something like that. As soon as you get your salary or any kind of income, 10% instantly gets removed. So whatever you get, any income you get, 10% is yours to keep. Even if you have debts to pay like mortgages and car payments and credit cards and so on, you should always keep that 10% for yourself first, because when you start collecting that money in your savings account, it's going to give you so much pleasure and also so much motivation to go out there and to make even more money and to save even more. Rule number 2 is control expenditure. And just like I said at the beginning of the video, it doesn't matter how much you earn, because often the more you earn, the more you spend, because when you have a better job, you need to wear better clothes, have a better bag, better shoes, a better car, and live in a better neighborhood just to fit in with other people. But it doesn't lead to anything good, because you'll just be stuck in this rat race forever. Point is that you should always live below your means and not increase your expenditure together with your salaries, because then you will never ever achieve financial freedom. Tip number 3 is make your money multiply. So when you start collecting more and more savings, don't just keep them in the savings account doing nothing. Find really good investments to make that money multiply, because compound interest is a beautiful thing. That €100 that you're putting away every month now will become a huge amount of money 20 or 30 years down the line. Is really powerful. Rule number 4 is be really careful with your investments. Really check where you put in your money, because there are lots of people out there that are trying to take advantage of you. And if you are investing the money in something, always go for perhaps lower interest, but more security than a lot of interest and a huge risk to lose your actual savings. And I burned like crazy in that field, because a few years ago I decided to invest my money in Forex and start trading Forex, and eventually I lost all my savings. So my greed and my belief that I could earn lots of money definitely made me fail. So don't do that. Invest it in places where the interest might be smaller, but there's no risk to lose the actual principal amount, and where you can have access to the money at any time. And of course, ask people who have actually done it successfully, so perhaps other people that have managed to make great investments, that are wealthy, or professionals in their field like financial advisors. Don't try to know everything yourself, because it's just impossible. But of course, educate yourself as much as possible about money and finance and investing as well, because you can't always trust other people 100%. The next tip is try to purchase your own house as soon as possible rather than paying the rent, because one thing I understood from a very young age is that when you have something on rent, you're actually paying somebody else's mortgage. And I rented a house in London the whole time, just because London was so expensive, and also because we were not mature enough to buy anything there at that time. And it drove me crazy the whole time, because I knew that we were just paying somebody else's mortgage, and I couldn't wait to have my own home. Now we live in our own home, and it's awesome, because not only we don't have to pay anything to anyone, and we surely have a roof over our head no matter what, but we're also not paying anybody else's mortgage. And in most cases, paying the mortgage every month is actually cheaper than paying rent for the same flat. So don't be afraid of that commitment, because at the end of the day, you're paying the same amount as you would pay for the rent, but 25, 30 years down the line, you're going to have your own house completely paid off, which might be really good retirement money when you get older. And this is another point that I'm going to speak about in a second. And that's prepare for your retirement or a rainy day. So as I said in the previous one, having your own house is going to be extremely valuable, because that's a huge asset when you get older. But also, if something happens to you, if you get ill, your family needs to be really secure as well. So make sure that you always have savings, a rainy days fund. Real estate is really the best investment if you have money lying around. There were days when gold was a really good investment, but what I'm trying to say is that don't rely on the government to take care of you when you get older. Don't rely on private pension funds or something like that, because you know what happened to them during the crisis in 2007. People lost almost all their pensions. Don't rely on other people to provide for you when you get older or when you're in trouble. Just look after yourself little by little. Start thinking about it from a very young age, and you'll have a very comfortable retirement, and hopefully you'll be able to leave lots of things to your kids as well. And the next tip, of course, is keep learning. Never stop learning new things. Keep a very open mind and a flexible mind, of course. Keep your eyes open for any kind of opportunities to make more money that might come your way. Don't lose any opportunity to learn from mentors and inspiring people who have done what you would like to do in the future. Visualize, meditate, do affirmations, have very clear wishes what you want from life, and know exactly what you want. Because if, let's say, you just say, I want to have a lot of money, the universe will not give it to you because you're not very clear about your wish. You need to be very exact. So think about exactly what you want to have, how much, when, with timelines and everything like that, and the universe will provide you ways to get there. But that's another topic. That's really the topic of law of attraction, which, by the way, I believe a lot in, and I have a lot of cases of the amazingness of law of attraction in my life. So if you'd like a video about law of attraction and my experience with it, definitely let me know, because I'm really thinking of making it. So really hope that you enjoy these tips, and they're really simple, but they're really life-changing. So I also really recommend that book, The Richest Man in Babylon, that I got these tips from. I think is absolutely awesome for anybody interested in having a little bit richer life. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.